Hello again, Yellow Van fans. We are on another trip, and this time we are headed to South Dakota. We're going to the Black Hills to visit the town of Custer, where we will be staying. We'll go see Mount Rushmore, Custer State Park. We'll go to Rapid City and to the Jewel Cave National Monument and Wind Cave National Park. So come along with us to find out what you should do in South Dakota.
Lots and lots of junior ranger, and we are going to walk much more and do Soy Island, and there will be Nissy Line.
Okay, we have arrived in South Dakota. We are at the Buffalo Ridge Camp Resort in Custer, South Dakota. We've just arrived and we're setting up our camp. Then we're going to eat some dinner, and then we're going to go to Mount Rushmore.
We are going to want much more, and we are going to. And there's going to be 5 faces. It actually has 4 faces on it.
Okay, we finished up at Mount Rushmore. We got to see the faces, and we went to the sculptor's studio and the visitor center, and the girls both got their junior ranger badges. This was Isla's very first time doing junior ranger, so she got her first badge. Good morning again, Yellow Van fans. We are headed out to Jewel Cave National Monument today. Last night we didn't think it was going to rain, but of course because we were camping, it did rain. So we had a big thunderstorm last night, and we were up part of the night with that. But today we're headed to Jewel Cave, and we hope that we'll have a great time seeing the cave there. Right, we went on the Discovery Tour at Jewel Cave. You do need to get tickets in advance for that, and that is the short one. It's just 20 minutes. It's good for kids and people with accessibility issues. So that was all we were able to do with our current situation, but there are much longer cave tours that you have to go up a lot of steps and down a lot of steps and all that kind of thing. Now we are walking on the roof trail, which is the thing over the top of the cave. Although actually most of the entire area here is the roof of the cave. Now it's still a little bit stormy out here, but it's not quite rainy right now, so hopefully we can get this little hike done. finished up at Jewel Cave National Monument. Both the girls got their Junior Ranger badges. Now we are back in Custer, and we are at the Purple Pie Palace, where we are going to have some lunch. Right, we are at Wind Cave National Park. There are no cave tours here right now because the cave is closed for elevator updating and repairs, but we are walking along surface trails here. We are currently on the Prairie Vista Trail, and we've also visited the Visitor Center. Okay, we finished up at the Visitor Center and the girls got their Junior Ranger badges, and now we are taking the scenic drive out of the park, and we stopped at Rankin Ridge to do a little hike up to the highest point in the park. It's not really raining, it's just kind of misty drizzling right now. Okay, we finished at Wind Cave doing that last hike, and then we came up on the scenic drive and up into Custer State Park. Now we are at the Legion Lake Lodge here having some dinner. Good morning again, Yellow Van fans. We have finished up at camp this morning. We had breakfast of pancakes and sausages, and now we are headed back into Custer State Park. We're going to start by going to the Outdoor Education Center.
And as our Junior Ranger, we're doing a Junior Naturalist. And this is going to be a buffalo.
Okay, we finished up at the Education Center there. There were lots of fun things to do there for kids. And now we are doing the wildlife loop. We're going to see if we can see some bison. We just saw a pronghorn. And we're going to stop down at the Bison Center. Park. The girls got their junior naturalist badges there. And now we are headed to Storybook Island Park in Rapid City. Okay, we did Storybook Island in Rapid City, and now we've come back to Custer State Park, and we are now doing the hike around Legion Lake. Just packed up camp, and now we are headed out of the Black Hills and out of South Dakota. We are going to go to Devil's Tower National Monument on our way back to Montana. Did you like it, Storybook Island?
I like the nursery rhyme. The nursery rhyme.
Which nursery rhyme do you like?
Little Muffet.
Can you say it for us?
Little Muffet like Natasha, eating the gifts away. Along the fire and beside them, fighting Muffet away. Jack can do it. I bet you get to be. The dog fell down and broke his ground, and you came stumbling after.
Okay, we have arrived at Devil's Tower National Monument. It takes quite a while to get here because they are moderating traffic on the road with a stoplight because the parking lot is small, and so they're just holding people there until they can let them in. But we were able to get a parking spot after waiting on the road for about 40 minutes, and now we are headed up to the visitor center. Okay, we finished up at Devil's Tower, and now we've been driving for a while. We are back in Montana, and we're just going to review and recap this trip to South Dakota's Black Hills. So, Megan, what did you think of the Black Hills?
I really liked it, and there's so much to do. We did more this time than we did the last time we came, but I still feel like there's still a ton of things that we didn't even do or touch that we could come back and do. This is a place where you could definitely come back multiple times and do something different every single time.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things happening in the area. So what we did was we went to Mount Rushmore, of course, which is probably the most popular place to go there. And we also did Jewel Cave National Monument, Wind Cave National Park, Custer State Park, Storybook Island in Rapid City, and then on our way home, we did Devil's Tower, which apparently a lot of people do in conjunction with these things because it's kind of far out, and so when you're in the Black Hills, it's kind of the closest you're probably going to be to it. So first up, Mount Rushmore. What did you think of Mount Rushmore?
It was good. It was different than the last time we went. A lot of it was still under construction. So this time it was nice that everything was done. And the little walk was really good.
Yep.
And we enjoyed it. Yeah.
So you can do a walk out to see the faces. There's a visitor center, and there's also the sculptor's studio where they work. And so there's lots to see there. You could spend a good amount of time there, but it's not like you're going to spend the whole day at Mount Rushmore. You probably need other things to do with your day. One place we didn't go was Crazy Horse, which is the other mountain carving there that's still in progress. We could see it from the road, but we didn't go up to it because we didn't have time to do that this time. And then we had Jewel Cave, where we did the Discovery Tour, which is the really easy 20-minute tour that just goes into one room in the cave. There are much more difficult ones. And what did you think of Jewel Cave?
It was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, Jewel Cave was fun. It's a really cool national monument, and there is some stuff to do above ground as well. We did a little hike there too. But the main attraction is the caves, and you just have to choose the right one for your party's skill and ability level. And you also need to make sure that you get those tickets ahead of time because they can sell out. So reserve those ahead of time. Then we did Wind Cave National Park. And this one, the caves were not open because of elevator replacement. So we are here at the beginning of summer in 2024. And those are not slated to reopen until fall of 2024. So what do you think of Wind Cave?
So Wind Cave, we did a really cool prairie hike, which was really fun just to be walking through the prairie and cave. That was the first time I've really been on a prairie. I've driven through it before, but it was cool to actually be out there and walking and seeing all the hills, seeing all the grasses and the flowers and stuff was really neat.
Yeah. So that was a pretty fun, easy hike. We could go to the cave's natural entrance as well, and so we could hear the wind, which is what they heard when they found it. So that was a cool thing to be able to do. And they had a very nice visitor center there.
Yeah.
With recently updated exhibits. They had 2 exhibits, one upstairs that talked about the above ground stuff and one downstairs that talked about the stuff in the caves. So pretty cool visitor center there as well. The girls did Junior Ranger there too. I don't think I mentioned they did it Junior Ranger in Jewel Cave. They did Junior Ranger pretty much everywhere we went. And yeah, it was pretty nice. Without the caves though, it also is not a whole day experience at Wind Cave.
We did Jewel Cave and Wind Caves on the same day.
Yep. And then we also did a little bit of Custer State Park that night. And then the next day we did a lot more of Custer State Park. And Custer State Park is a really good state park. For a state park, a lot of people have said that maybe Custer should be a national park. It's just a really nice park with a lot to do. And it's probably one of the main South Dakota attractions. We did dinner at the Legion Lake Lodge. And so there are 4 lodges that all have full service dining as well as lodging. So we went to the main visitor center in Custer State Park. There are also some other centers there that we did the next day, including the Education Center, the Outdoor Education Center, and the Bison Center. And all of those were really nice. They all felt like they had been updated recently, like they were very modern exhibits for a state park to have. And the girls really liked the visitor center because it had a climbing wall in it, and they did that for quite a while. Custer State Park also has their Junior Ranger equivalent, which is their Junior Naturalist program, and the girls really enjoyed doing that, and they got a patch for it. And other things that we did the next day, the Bison Center. Isla loves bison, and so we really wanted to go there. And on the way there, we were on the Wildlife Drive. We saw a lot of bison on the Wildlife Drive. And there were so many that they must have had to bring out some herders to clear the roads because the traffic could not move at all. And so we were kind of in the middle of a bison stampede for a little bit, which you probably saw in the video. It was a lot of bison running past and around our car, which was pretty exciting. It got Megan's heart beating a lot. And so that was a new experience. We've seen lots and lots of bison because we live near Yellowstone. And but that was a new experience for us to have that. Also at Custer State Park, we went to Legion Lake. We did a hike around it, which we've done on a previous time. It's a really nice lake hike that doesn't take too long, and it is something that small children can do. And also while we were there, we did a little bit of paddleboarding on Legion Lake with our paddleboard there. We just set it up, and Lucy and I went out for a little paddle on the lake. It's pretty small, so we just were able to go across it pretty quickly, but that was fun. And before we mentioned the Education Center, this is kind of a place where kids can go to learn about all kinds of things for Custer. It's kind of the place that really houses the Junior Naturalist program. So they do kind of like a little educational program there. There's a lot of exhibits. There's a scavenger hunt that's part of the program that kids can do.
There's indoor and outdoor activities that they do. And they also do things like archery, rock climbing, I don't even know what else, but other like fun things that you can sign up for.
They had a program called the Bison Olympics.
Yeah.
We weren't there for it, but so they do all kinds of different things, and it's a really cute center. They have art supplies, so the kids can do the art part of the Junior Naturalist, or I'm sure they do other art activities there as well. Outside, there's like a little cave, mine shaft area, and a giant sandbox. There's all kinds of things outside. A music area, lots of different things. So we really enjoyed that. We could have spent even more time there if we had had more time on it. And there's a little hike by it that we did as well. It's a little hike with a lot of elevation gain.
Yeah, and it's very rock, like slippery, loose rock.
Yeah, the girls slipped a couple times. But we had a good time doing that. So Custer State Park is great. That day where we were mainly at Custer, we also went into Rapid City, which is probably about an hour's drive. And we went to Storybook Island Park, which is a park that is, it's open to the public. There's no charge or anything, but it's all based around fairy tales and nursery rhymes. So we'd done this a few years ago when Lucy was little, and Isla really wanted to do it. So we went in there, and she was able to have a lot of fun going through all the different areas and different playgrounds and stuff that they have there. And then on the way out, we did Devil's Tower. And what did you think of Devil's Tower?
It was really cool. It was very different than what I was expecting it to be. First off, it was a lot busier than I was expecting it to be.
Very busy.
Because it really isn't like the middle of nowhere. Like you have to want to go to get there. And it was very busy. I don't know if that's just because we were there on a holiday or if it really is just that popular in the summertime. So it took a while to actually get there. And when we were there, it seemed very crowded to me. There's not like a ton of hikes to do once you're there by the visitor center, and the visitor center is small. And so probably just because there's not a ton of options for the people who are there to go do, it just felt crowded, but it still was very cool. And I liked the hike that we did around the base of it.
Yeah, I would put it at a similar crowd level to popular national parks, places like Yellowstone, Yosemite, or Zion. I felt like similar to that. But yeah, really, really awesome. A place that I'd always wanted to go see. It is the first national monument, I think, in the country. And so a really cool place to see and very unique. Not something that you would see other places.
Yeah, and just like the rock formation itself is even very different than I was expecting it to be.
Different when you see it up close
Yeah.
than when you see it in pictures. Yeah. So an awesome kind of addition to our trip. That's in Wyoming, not in South Dakota, but it's not
2
very
hours.
far from there.
Yeah, it was 2 hours away from Custer where we were staying, so yeah, definitely doable.
Okay, so Megan, what was your favorite thing we did?
It's hard to choose because I really did like everything that we did. Custer is probably my favorite just because there were lots of really fun things and like unique experiences that we had there. And even though we've been there before, I feel like pretty much everything we did this time was almost completely different than what we did the first time.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that was the same was the Legion Lake.
Yeah, we've been there during COVID previously, so none of the centers and stuff were open when we were there before.
Yeah, and the centers are all very new and super nice, and Yeah, we all just had a really good time doing all the things there.
Everybody loved it.
If I could only choose one to do, I would choose that just because there's so many options for so many different kinds of people, different abilities. Like anyone can find something fun and interesting to do there.
Yep, I really liked that one too, but I think my favorite was probably Devil's Tower because I had wanted to go for a long time. It was really cool to finally be able to see it. All right, any other tips for South Dakota?
So we stayed at Buffalo Ridge Resort, which is kind of nice and central to all the things that we did. It was like between 20 and 30 minutes to most of those things that we just mentioned. So that was kind of nice that it was just close. We could have stayed in one of the national parks, national monuments, or in Custer State Park as well. But I just kind of liked staying outside because then it was easy to go to all the things. Because it was easy to get to.
Yep, but there are lots of options for campgrounds and
hotels,
lodging and cabins. And, I mean, there's just lots of options everywhere out there. So you can't go wrong. But we have stayed at Buffalo Ridge twice, and we've enjoyed it there. Lots of different amenities and stuff that they have. Okay, so I think that will do it for this trip to South Dakota.